Hi, I'm Candy Randolph, and today we're talking about the topic of how to reinvent yourself at 60. You know, when we reach our 60th year and forward, it is kind of a milestone, isn't it? We've lived a lot of years, we have quite a bit of life experience, hopefully a mixture of positive. Life throws at us the not so happy stuff, but we've grown as women and we're getting ready for the next chapter in our life. For some of us, a reinvention or a reimagination or a reassessment of where we are at in our life seems appropriate when we reach this decade. It doesn't always have to mean, changing everything about you. And to me, it really doesn't. I don't think about reinventing my life in terms of, changing how I look and changing my name and moving to a new country. Nothing that drastic, although if that's what you want to do, you go right ahead. For me, though, when I did turn 60, I did reinvent my life out of necessity. And I'll get back to that in just a minute. So reinventing your life can be something rather small. Or it could mean changing everything about what you do, where you live. We're at a point in our life where you're empty nesters. We might have retired or you're thinking about retirement. You may be with your spouse. You might not be. And those are all of the things that kind of catapult us into this thinking about reinventing our life. For me specifically, when I was 60 years of age, I lost my husband, my soulmate, my partner of 20 years. He was gone. And so I was forced to really make a choice about my life. What direction was I going to take? What was I going to do with my life? Was I going to lay in a puddle and cry, which I kind of felt like doing for a while? What was I going to do with myself? I was, now a single woman. And I chose to keep moving forward. I had started a business when my husband was ill because we could no longer work together in our business. And it was just starting to take off. So I decided to go with that business, become a single business owner as a woman in my 60s and go for it, which is what I did when I lived in Florida and had a very successful home staging business. Then, after a few years, I had another opportunity to kind of reinvent myself when, because of how circumstances worked out with my family, I made the decision to move back to Michigan. So I was leaving behind everything I had established. I decided to close that business gradually, work my way into an online business ownership, which I eventually was able to work into a full-time gig, which is what I'm still doing, and kind of change direction, what I was doing, where I was going. I made the decision after I relocated to change my hair color. I'd been an auburn box color, person for a number of years, and that was kind of my trademark, was that auburn hair. And I made the decision to go gray basically in an afternoon. That was a huge change for me. I decided to close my interior decorating business, which was kind of hand in hand with the home staging business. And that meant no more face-to-face contact with clients. Big change. I'd been doing that for a long time. So I kind of went through that process of reassessing my goals, where I was in my life, and kind of reinvented my life once I moved. And that's where I am today, is living the life that I kind of created for myself. So for you, if you're thinking about some type of reimagining or reassessment, reinvention of your life, it's probably going to look a lot different than mine, because we're all different people. We come from different walks of life. We have different goals and objectives and family situations. But there are some constants, some things that are good for us to consider as we're going through this process of reinventing our life at 60 or whatever age you happen to be. So take a look at the rest of the video and consider these components to this transition and see how you might apply them to your life. The challenges of refocusing, reimagining, and reinventing your life. When you want to make changes in your life, it's helpful to break down your overall goals into small, manageable pieces rather than trying to do everything at once. Focus on small steps and, frankly, taking one step at a time. Another way to overcome common challenges is to seek out the support of your friends, your family, or maybe even a professional coach or counselor. Sometimes it can be helpful to talk to someone who understands what you're trying to accomplish. They can offer some sage advice or maybe even just a listening ear. And of course, remember to be patient with yourself. It takes time to make significant changes in your life, but if you really want to see these things happen, stick with them and don't give up. With perseverance and dedication, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Remember, too, that reinventing doesn't always mean you're starting your life completely over. Reinventing your life means making changes to improve your life satisfaction and well-being. Considerations for reinventing your life? Well, it's more than just a to-do list, although those are helpful too. When you're considering such a momentous undertaking, I think it merits more than a list of things to check off and say, yep, it's the new me. So let's take a look at some of those considerations. First, take stock of your life as it is right now, today. How are you feeling physically? Are you up to making these types of changes? How about your emotional health? Is your mind in a good place? And who else might be involved in your decisions? Do you have a spouse or a partner or a family member who would need to be included in whatever it is that you're considering? Maybe not, but all things that you should think about. Next, I call these the 10 things. If you were to make a list of the 10 things about your life that you'd like to change, wiggle your nose and make it happen, what would they be? Go ahead, create that list. Then prioritize that list and take a look at the top 3, the 3 that are most important to you. That's probably your starting point. The other 7 could be somewhere down the road, but take those top 3 and make a plan. Make it new. One of the most exciting aspects to reinventing yourself is the opportunity to give yourself the opportunity to try something new and different. Learn a new skill, travel to a different location, write a book, change your look. The sky's really the limit. So get out of your comfort zone and really take a look at what you want to be, where you want to go, what do you want to do. The next consideration is one that we talk about a lot, and that is to get yourself healthy. Maybe you need to think about implementing some daily routines. Take a look at your eating habits. Remember to drink enough water. Focus on yourself at this time in your life, especially as you prepare to make some possibly significant changes. The next consideration is to check in on your mental health. Remember to stay in touch, stay social, talk to people at different levels, friends, family. Stay active mentally, whether you're doing puzzles or painting or whatever it is, reading. Make sure to keep your mind active. And finally, get your sleep. Again, as you're looking at making changes in your life, you want to be your best self physically and mentally. So pay attention to these things and do what you need to do. Another consideration is in the area of your relationships. Think about the people in your life. Are there those that you need to reach out to? Maybe repair or renew relationships. Possibly part of your reinvention of yourself is to dissolve a relationship. So give all of those consideration. The next consideration is the 10-year plan. You know, we may be in our 60s or close to it, but we're not done yet. So where do you see yourself in 10 years? What do you want to accomplish? Part of reimagining and reinventing yourself, as we've talked about, is to make a plan and then start working towards your goals. And finally, be patient with yourself. It's important to remember that when you're reinventing yourself, really at any age, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a process. It takes time and patience. So be gentle with yourself as you go through this process. Give yourself time and space to make mistakes, learn from them, protect and encourage your self-esteem, and allow yourself to change direction as you go through this process. It might take some time, but you'll get there. Reinventing yourself at 60 is possible, my friend. It might take some effort, actually a lot of effort, but it's worth it to go through the process and learn to enjoy life more. So take these tips into consideration, and you'll be well on your way to starting a new chapter in your life.